Are we podcasting right now? Have we started?
No.
No? Let's just talk about our feelings then. If we haven't hit go, let's talk about the real stuff, and then we'll hit go. Did you watch the podcast last week?
I did, yeah.
What did you think of the checks and the things?
I thought that looked really nice, like just on the side.
Yeah.
I was expecting more of like a running tally of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like a count.
Oh, that would have worked.
And you did it like so. I knew. Oh, hey, he missed question 4.
Yeah.
He missed question 7.
Yeah. I probably spent way more time than I should have creating all of that.
I don't think so. I mean, I know that I appreciate all the editors' work and how much they're doing for us. So
That's true.
I don't think that you could spend enough time.
He should get a raise. Although a raise from 0 is really not that much, I suppose.
Well, it depends. Is it percentage or is it a flat amount?
I don't know. What's 10% of 0?
That's a 0 still. Yeah.
All right.
As the math guy of the group.
Yeah, very much. Very much so. Well, hey, it is our recording day. It's Thursday.
It is
the day we record.
I'm a little under the weather.
You are.
So that's not fun.
You are. Now, there's a couple dad jokes I want to make. Like, and not that there are any, but just you saying under the weather. I'm like, oh, what weather is it? Is it rainy? Is it sunny? Like, we've got a lot of June gloom going on right here, even though it's May.
I was talking to someone today. I was on a different Zoom meeting today, and they're like, I said, oh, I'm a little under the weather, and they did a very similar dad joke to me there.
But are they a dad?
I think he was a dad, yeah. So.
Oh, then it counts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works.
Do you have to be a dad to tell dad jokes, or is dad jokes just a classification now of joke types?
So I think you can
like
tell.
Knock knock is a joke. Yo mama's a joke type.
Right. Yo mama jokes are no longer allowed in our house.
Oh, so I was about to ask, are they still a popular thing, or did I just completely date myself?
No. They're just not allowed in our house.
Wilder Valderrama used to have that TV show, Yo Mama.
Yo Mama. Yeah.
Where he would get people to actually say Yo Mama jokes.
We we got into a habit at home doing that, just being silly ones, not like real mean ones, because the boys have a mama and she's fantastic. I like her a lot.
That's good.
And so, but the boys would just say like, oh yeah, your mama, like, and then we're like, hey, you got to stop doing that or whatever. And one of them said, why? And I was like, well, you got to ask Joe. Joe who? Joe Mama, bam! And then I just walked out of the room, and then now that's the joke is no more Yo Mama jokes. They're all Joe Mama jokes. But I think that you can tell dad jokes as somebody who's not a dad.
Okay, because that takes that. If you said no, you would have taken away like 75% of my jokes
for sure. But once you become a dad, they come naturally.
Oh, you get that upgrade.
Yeah, it just happens. And then if you're a youth pastor,
okay,
and a dad, they just flow out of you. Like you don't even have to try. Like it just comes out.
Interesting.
Do we want to close that door?
Yeah, probably.
We have people like working here, and you and I are just laughing and making noise in the other room.
Let's get our assistant Megan to do it for us.
Yeah. I thought you were going to shout out for Megan.
Hey, Megan!
I think that'd be the quickest way to not get that done. She would come and just stare in the door and then just leave it open. Possibly slam it. Oh, she didn't hear any of that. That's probably good. Thanks, Megan. Well, hey,
You're so welcome, Jesse.
Took you a minute. This was quite a pause there.
I will say though, I was considering channeling my inner like Will Ferrell from Old School when he goes, "Ma, the meatloaf." Megan, the door. Don't talk to people that way. First of all, no. Serious moment for a second. Don't do that. If you're her son, you especially don't do it.
Real talk.
Yeah, real talk. Real talk with Jay for a second.
You don't talk to especially women, but don't talk to anybody that way.
And you don't talk about Bruno. Some things we're learning today.
Oh, we don't talk about Bruno. I mean, there's a whole song about him, but like we're not going to talk about him.
No.
But we're not. Yeah. We'll sing him. No, it's complicated.
Yeah. Let's podcast about it.
What are we doing? What are we doing here? I feel like I say that every week. What are we doing? Who lets us do this? And I do say that actually quite a bit. We did have a plan for what we were going to podcast about.
We did. And then I ruined it.
That's all right. And so you know what? Let's
call the audible. Let's call the old Omaha set hut thanks to Peyton Manning up in there.
Yeah,
And
love basketball.
We're going to say, Jesse Duckett, have you seen any movies lately?
Let's see here. I feel like I saw Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness the other day.
Oh, so DS Mom.
DS2 Mom.
DS2 Mom. Ooh. Wait,
right?
Is the 2 in
Are
there?
we speaking Spanish? DS2 Mama. Like, I don't know. If that's Spanish, I don't know. And if I've said something offensive, I apologize. Probably just the S.
Dos?
No.
DS2. Got to Mama. I'm canceled.
Well, this has been a fun run. I hope you've enjoyed.
We made it 11 or 12 if you want to count 2 halves.
Yeah. Well, hey, we both have seen this, and I'm sure there's 100 other things we can just kind of chat about, but why don't we podcast about it?
Let's podcast about this. So, Doctor Strange's mom.
Doctor Strange Mom.
Doctor Strange's mom. We didn't learn about her in this movie. So
we did not see. No. That was that's Moon Knight. We learned about Moon Knight's mom. We don't learn about a lot of moms.
No,
but we did learn about Moon Knight's mom.
We did learn about Iron Man's mom.
We did, and we saw a certain Winter Soldier.
Yep.
Just beat her up.
Spoiler alert.
If you have not seen Civil War, that came out a long time ago.
Yeah, let's just put a obligatory. I
mean, I could see where you would say it that way.
Spoiler warning for Doctor Strange 2 and any of the Marvel movies that have come out already.
If you haven't seen any Marvel movie
and you plan on doing that, you might want to skip this episode, watch 25 movies, and then come back to this.
Yeah, for sure. So, first, now we've talked about movie reviews before. In that, when it comes to movie reviews,
we're horrible.
We're not great at it, just because the sense of like the directors and the cinematography and the whatever else people. I can
score?
think 2 things. Sure, the score, the acting. I guess
that's something people will talk about.
Yeah, it tends to boil down to like I liked it, I didn't like it, and then it can get nuanced from there. So first impression, liked it or didn't like it, Jeremiah?
I enjoyed it.
Okay,
yeah, I enjoyed.
So
the
that
movie.
wasn't one of the options, but I appreciate you getting creative with it.
I guess that's like I liked it.
I liked it too.
Yeah.
I liked it too. I didn't walk out of the theater thinking, wow, there goes 2.5 hours of my life.
Yeah. Have you had a similar thought to that, or a thought close to that with any of the Marvel movies?
Probably X-Men Origins.
Okay, that's technically not a Marvel movie.
Well, okay.
I mean, it is, but it's
right.
not
okay.
in like the MCU.
Right.
So I wasn't specific enough.
So a Marvel movie that I did that with.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. A lot of people give Thor: Dark World a bad rap, but
I enjoyed that.
I didn't mind.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Captain Marvel might be the closest one for me. But overall, I still enjoyed the movie. And for me, my biggest problem with Captain Marvel is they kept knocking her down, and she kept standing back up. But they never had her accomplish the task that she was trying to do originally.
Like in each one of those like flashbacks?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like there's that scene where she falls off the rope.
Right.
And the guys are being misogynistic and making fun of her for it. That's not cool. I get that.
Yeah.
But she just stands up. She doesn't climb the rope again. You don't see her actually accomplish the goal.
Interesting, because that movie really is so much about like women empowerment type stuff. Yet they leave that part out. I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah.
Look at that. You could be a critic. That's good.
They don't do even the baseball scene. She gets knocked down and she stands back up in the batter's box, which is great. Like she's like willing to stand back in there, but it'd be great if they showed her at least get a base hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I did like that movie. I thought Brie Larson did a good job. I think she's just got a... And I don't know anything about Captain Marvel anyway, so I don't know... I mean, all I have is that movie to go off of.
Yep.
And I thought that I enjoyed it as a character that was ridiculously overpowered, but a ton of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think especially... It's funny that this is not the movie we were starting to talk about, but we're talking about it now. But in that moment that she realizes that like she's the one that's being inhibited, and like she kind of like powers through that, right? Like she has her very much like Super Saiyan moment, and like
Do you watch Dragon Ball?
I love Dragon Ball Z.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
We've
been
never talked about anime before. Like,
Yeah.
what animes do? Okay. I only know the word Super Saiyan. I've never watched any of the Dragon Ball series.
Yeah, probably as far as animes go, Dragon Ball is probably the only one that
Interesting.
I've watched, but I haven't seen all of it. There's like a couple like sagas that I have seen only because I don't know, wherever I was in that stage of life, it was on some channel before you could like stream everything.
Yeah.
And so I would catch like a bunch of it in a row, but there are parts that they're really good. But
Okay.
But when Captain Marvel realized like her true power, and then she just destroyed everything
Yeah.
from that point on, I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah.
So back to mom.
Yeah, back to the moms.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
To all you moms out there. A couple weeks later.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I tell you what, you guys are in for quite the ride here in this podcast.
So, you liked the movie overall?
I did like it. I saw it with my wife. We went on a Friday afternoon. There was probably like 4 people in the theater. It was great.
Yeah.
Now I do love a packed theater, and so I miss those days of going to premieres and having just like barely nowhere to sit.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that, and so, but I enjoy the theater just anyways. So it doesn't matter if there's a lot or none. I will still choose usually a theater over just watching it at home.
Agreed. I love my first watch of a movie to be in theaters.
Yeah.
Even like when HBO Plus or HBO Max and like a movie will come at the exact same time, I will go see it in theaters first, because that's what like the director and like the entire crew that's put the movie together has developed it for.
Right. That was their vision.
Yeah. So I remember, I think it was Scott Derrickson who directed the first Doctor Strange movie. He was talking about how like just everything that gets put into it, and then you complain about the movie being dark or whatever when you watch it on your phone. It's like, that's because it was designed for like a theater space, not your little iPhone.
Right.
So,
yeah. But Liz was a huge fan. She felt like it was just one big kind of like trailer for what comes next.
Oh, she says she wasn't.
She was not, and she really enjoyed the first one. Like Doctor Strange was probably one of her favorite ones. That one and Captain Marvel, I think, that are like her 2 top ones. And she was just kind of let down by it. She just thought, she was like, it was okay, but it just felt like it was just leading up to whatever comes next, but not. It wasn't so much about this movie.
Yeah, I think if I had to like, so overall, I definitely enjoyed the movie, but some critiques of the movie, if I can be a little critical about it. It felt like it should have been Doctor Strange along for the ride.
Right. It felt much more like a Scarlet Witch movie that Doctor Strange was just trying to like stop.
Yeah. WandaVision Part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. The aftermath.
Sure. Yeah. That would have been good.
But like at the same time, I didn't think it was a what am I trying to say? Like, people are like, oh, I think it undoes the WandaVision, like her story arc in WandaVision. And I don't feel like it did that, because it wasn't saying that she didn't not grieve the loss of Vision properly. It was that she did that in WandaVision, but then the Darkhold, that book that she had, corrupted her.
Right, because correct me if I'm wrong, but Darkhold is bad.
Yeah.
Because every other Doctor Strange that they ran into, or any other story that we heard of, the Darkhold got in, and bad things happened.
Yeah, bad things. No good things happen when the Darkhold got involved. You get a third eye apparently if you're Doctor Strange, which I don't know.
I mean, we're gonna bounce around.
Yeah. I guess we can try and walk through the movie in some sort of a chronological order.
Well, so you had said grievances, right? Things you didn't like, right? And so it just felt like that. Anything else that you were like,
This is this is gonna come off. This could come off as a little bit of a male moment, but I noticed they set up a lot of female characters for things, and they sidelined them in. Okay. So at the we'll just kind of work in the order that works in my brain, right? At the end, it's America Chavez versus WandaVision or versus Wanda.
Okay.
And Doctor Strange goes, America, you've got this inside you. In his own movie. Okay. He should be the one saving the day at the end of the day.
Because it's his movie.
Because it's his movie.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with it's his movie. It's his name on the title.
Right.
So give it to him. And then there's the fight with the Illuminati, and Wanda shows up, and what she do? She immediately kills Black Bolt. She kills Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, both dead. She has a fight with the two women that if she beat those other two so quickly, I would think she could beat the other two women so just as quickly.
Right.
But no, they had a giant fight between them. And then she takes on Professor X in his own, like, basically his own, like, world, right? It's the brain. It's
right, like his domain.
Yeah, his main, like, what he's known for, he takes on.
Yeah.
And Wanda shows up and goes, nope, you're done. I'm going to snap your neck real quick and call it a day. And so it was like, she dispatched the guys a lot quicker than she did the other females.
It's true. They didn't put up any fight.
No.
I mean, Reed Richards tried to, but he got about as far as sticking his arm out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think that's just, I mean, it's, art mimicking culture. Culture's, that's kind of where we are in the culture, giving a lot of that
For sure.
to the giving women more of their due, because most of the time they are the ones that are sidelined, or you get a story arc that's like, hey, you're doing this great stuff. Okay, now sit down. We're going to finish it from here.
Yeah.
But to go back to your point, as far as like Doctor Strange giving it to
America.
Because I was like, wait, that's her real name. What's her character's name? No, her character's name is
Yeah.
America.
The actress's name I have tried to pronounce several times. Don't ask me to. It starts with an X. I know that.
We'll give it to John Travolta. He'll nail it. But my first thought was it's his movie, but he gives it to her at the end to kind of finish it. And I don't know why this was my first thought, was like, that's what is at the end of Cars, the first Cars. Like it was, this was McQueen's story.
Yep.
At the end, he lets Doc, or not Doc, whoever the other one, he lets the other guy win.
The Blue Hornet.
Yeah. It was all about not the Blue Hornet. It was the blue car, because Blue Hornet was on the side. That was Doc. Anyways, this is not the point at all.
But the point is that that was
part
a
of
character
that
arc,
right? And so that's what Doctor Strange's was, right? Because Doctor Strange always wanted to be the one holding the knife.
for sure.
And so his part of his arc, getting over Christine, getting over the fact that he's got to be the one that's in control, by then giving it to America to finish.
I mean, I guess, but to me, when they said, "Hey, he's not going to take her powers," that was him not holding the scalpel, because he was told, "Hey, take her powers for yourself," and he's like, "No, I'm not going to hold the scalpel. That's not the right thing to do, even though it could be the best thing for humanity."
Right.
He's learning, hey, I don't need to always do the best move for humanity. I can do the best move for this human in this moment.
I could see that.
So
I also don't know barely anything. Again, I don't know any of the comics. I don't know the comic arcs.
And I'm only trying to approach this from the MCU itself, not from a comic book background. Because comic book people will destroy things and not recognize that if it's considered its own universe, which it is, then they can do whatever they want.
True. Now, couldn't that be said for the fight, Wanda's fight with the Illuminati, that the Professor X that we know from either the 90s cartoon or from even some of the movies, that one that was showing up in that Earth, what was that, 838?
862, I think?
Whichever one it was, that he's not as strong as the ones that we know.
And that's definitely possible, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, I have no problem with that. And I think Wanda could easily destroy every single person on that team. But maybe because I'm reading it through the lens of the culture right now, I see the fact that they're like highlighting the women in this moment.
Right. Like maybe there would have been a bigger fight.
Yeah. There was a choice made to highlight those two female characters because it was Captain Carter, who's effectively a stronger human.
Right.
Like she no real power. She's just a strong human, much like Captain America. She probably has a lot of like grit and determination, which is fantastic.
I could do this all day.
I can do this all day. Yeah, I think she even says that line. So cool, but Wanda wants to destroy her. Wanda destroys her, no problem. If Wanda wants to destroy Steve Rogers Captain America, she destroys Steve Rogers Captain America. Like I have no question on whether or not who's going to win that fight.
Right.
But they allowed her to live so that they could have that female fight moment.
Yeah. And that was kind of like in Endgame. There was that whole woman thing marching through.
Which doesn't make sense in a battle issue.
Right, in a battle sense. But, I'm like, and I don't care enough to think that those things should be changed or taken out.
I don't think they should be taken out, but I have to think that, these are conscious decisions people are making. And so they have to be okay with us making conscious decisions on whether or not we liked it.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to me, right?
You hate women. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I don't
Yes,
think you do that.
I hate all women. They are the worst in the entire world.
And that will be the bit that I pull out of.
Which you haven't been doing lately, I've noticed.
I haven't. And I don't know. I mean, I go through these phases, right, of social media and not where I get super engaged for a lot and then I just pull back.
Yeah, but you don't need to be engaged for TikTok for yourself.
Right.
But for level 5, you need to be engaged.
and I think it's because it wasn't doing anything. Like we weren't getting people that were checking out the podcast because of it.
We don't know that. We've gotten podcast listeners in places that we don't recognize.
I don't know. I mean, I guess the analytics say that there's like 18 listeners, which is
there's more than that. There's like 20.
I think it's only 18. Anchor said 18.
I go most of Spotify.
Oh, well, there you go.
So
there you go.
Now we're getting meta about our own podcast.
But it was a lot. It was just a lot to edit all of that stuff. And so I wanted to make sure that this was getting out and not trying to bury myself under all the other stuff.
No, it makes sense.
But yeah, if
you don't care about the podcast enough to put your heart and soul into it.
The people that I hear back from, like that I actually hear back from as far as feedback on the podcast aren't usually on the TikTok anyways.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, I don't know.
I hear back from everyone and I enjoy some of the comments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But just so you're aware.
There's a lot of comments on the YouTube, but that's just you.
I'm trying to do it for the algorithm.
Is it helping? Like, I don't
know.
I will say though that I was looking at the analytics for on Anchor for all the stuff that's being put onto Spotify. So if you're listening it on Spotify, it shows that the majority of the people that start listening to our podcast finish it all the way, and that's pretty great.
Yeah. So just so you're aware, I'm looking at Anchor's numbers right now. Anchor says we've had 22. Our audience size is 22 in the past 7 days.
I looked at it today. It said 18.
Well,
how many views is our last podcast?
It doesn't say episode rankings. Okay, 32 for Obi-Wan.
Okay, that was at 30.
Yeah, so we've had some more hits there.
Because that's our highest episode.
Yeah, that's definitely the highest one. Trivia is making its way up there. It's 16 total so far.
Okay.
But 22 is our audience size according to Anchor. According to Spotify, which I think has a little bit better analytics on this stuff, we have 25. So that's a quarter of a century of people.
A quarter of a century of people.
So we're getting up there.
And that's fun.
And to quote my friend Bill Murray, baby steps. Baby steps out the door. Baby steps.
Like, wow, which way are we going to go with this? Don't cross the streams?
You shouldn't cross the stream. And if a woman asks you if you are a god, you say yes.
Yeah. And maybe it's not that he's been a god. He's just been around so long he knows everything. Which is actually what I've mentioned that actually about Satan before. Like just his ability to manipulate things. Like it's not that he's like he's able to because he can't read our thoughts. He's not omniscient or omnipotent. He doesn't have any of the God powers. But he's been around so long, like he knows how to set things in motion. Like he's just been around. Same way that, he's just in one big Groundhog Day.
No.
Yes. Yeah. It's you got to read between the lines.
Oh, okay, interesting. Ned.
It's such a great movie. Anytime I see that guy, no matter what movie he's in, like I just see him from Groundhog Day.
You're talking about the guy that
Ned Ryerson.
Yeah, Ned Ryerson. Yeah. What's the song that starts like the day off?
I Got You, Babe.
Oh yes, okay, yeah. I was like, I feel like it's super like obvious, but like,
yeah,
my brain was not thinking of the words to it.
Yeah. Going back to the moms.
Okay, back to moms. Yep.
What did you think when you first saw the Illuminati?
So when they did the Christine Palmer and she was like, "Oh, I work for the Baxter Foundation," I got a little giddy because I knew who the Baxters are and I knew like the Fantastic Four. Like to me, that was enough of a confirmation that the Fantastic Four were in this universe.
Right, and in fact, I remember because I heard the same thing and I went. And that was enough. Like, I didn't need to see anybody else.
I
Just to
didn't
know, I was like, okay.
Okay, yeah.
All right,
Like,
this is a
like,
thing.
That would have been enough of a throwaway if they would have brought in a different, like, I've heard rumors of, like, an Iron Man variant that shows up. And I was like, okay, if they would have done that instead of having Reed Richards show up, I would have been okay with that.
Yeah. Because just them mentioning it was cool enough.
Yeah.
I really liked that.
And then having Professor X roll across with his, like, yellow wheelchair. As a fan of the 90s X-Men,
Yeah.
oh, I got so giddy.
I had because they even played the theme song, and that was in my head for probably a week.
Yeah.
Like in fact, it's in there now. I can hear it now. It was really great. I really liked that. Yeah. It's just, that was such a great cartoon. I mean, that was so much in like my early teen years of just living. I loved it. I loved that show.
Now, that was, if I remember correctly, the Captain Marvel was Maria Rambeau from Captain Marvel, the movie, her best friend, right?
Right.
It wasn't the daughter that we saw in WandaVision.
Correct.
Okay.
But we're going to see the daughter in the Marvels?
The Marvels, I believe, yes.
Right. Because Maria Rambeau is done. Because as far as WandaVision went, like when we heard her story, she died.
Yeah. She
got
got
cancer. And then the daughter got
powers.
There was the blip happened. Didn't that happen?
Yeah, and they show that in Wanda.
And then, but Maria, her daughter didn't get blipped though, right?
The daughter got blipped out, and she comes back after the blip. And when she comes back, her mom has already died of cancer.
Yeah.
So, way to make me think of that issue, and now I'm going to cry a little bit.
I mean, we keep talking about WandaVision. Like, that was just, there were some emotional rides in that show. It
Yes.
was a great show.
It was a really good
it.
show. They kicked off the Marvel television verse really well with that show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of the other shows hit and miss a little bit, but
still entertaining.
yeah. Oh yeah, I've been entertained by them all, and I'm going to tune into them like I always do.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for Miss Marvel. Is that what they're going to call it?
I think it's called Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
I'm not excited for it, but I'm going to watch it.
I am more excited for that than I am She-Hulk.
Okay, that is a fair thing to say. I'm not very excited for She-Hulk after the latest trailer.
I was wondering when I saw the trailer, because after watching it must have been yesterday that I saw it. I thought, did the same art team that did X-Men Origins Wolverine, did they do She-Hulk? Like, they just... I would have been so much better if they just painted her green. Like, it looks.
If they would have gone Gamora on her rather than making her
right.
Yeah.
And so I'm just hoping it's still pre-production.
Yeah, and that's my hope. Like, you and I, we've seen some pre-production movies and stuff, and we know that the product can advance
for sure
significantly.
That's the hope.
Yeah. So my hope is that and Sonic the Hedgehog, another great example where they did horrible CGI and the fans were all like, no.
Right, rallied against it, and then they did much better in the second run.
Yeah, but when the movie actually came out, it was actually pretty, from everything I can tell, people really liked it.
Now, do you think, I feel like we talked about this in our first podcast. Those are words. It was just a different
I do
language.
believe that this is
first podcast.
This is the lost episode information we're covering right now.
Yeah, we talked about that. And so I can't remember where you landed. Do you think that was a marketing ploy?
Oh, no, I don't think it was a marketing ploy.
You think they actually, like, that's what they wanted Sonic to look like?
Yeah.
And then there was so much.
Because they would have come out later and, like, I think would have done something with it as a marketing ploy, but they didn't. They were like, this is what Sonic should be.
Did you see the second Sonic?
I haven't seen either of the Sonics.
They're really good.
And that's people have told me that. I just haven't. They're like on the list of movies I want to watch.
The first one's really good. I really, really liked the first one. The second one was really entertaining and had a couple like amazing moments that made you think, okay, the weird like side plots or whatever didn't matter anymore. Like just a couple just fantastic reveals. And so it was good. And Jim Carrey's brilliant. Like just Jim Carrey's brilliant.
He comes back to like full Jim Carrey force.
Yeah, it's great. Anyways, what were we talking about? How did we get all the way here? Oh, Marvel shows, bad CGI, Sonic. Okay.
Yeah, no, but we were also talking about just WandaVision and crying because I asked you. I was verifying I knew who the correct Miss Marvel was.
Right.
Or Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I want to give her a proper title.
I thought it was weird that she died by being crushed by a statue.
Yeah. That is weird.
Okay. Just so as long as I voice it. That's it. That's all I had.
And I mean, I don't know about her powers to be like, should they have kicked on?
Right. And
Because
were
it
they
could have been
this-
a thing like her brain wasn't functioning because she'd been destroyed so much by Wanda
Yeah.
that she didn't kick on her powers, and that's why she got crushed.
Yeah, and I don't know how like the variant works. Like I guess I was assuming that if she got her powers the same way that Carol Danvers did, then she should have been okay. But if she got them kind of like added on, like if she's wearing the bracelets, then she has the power, then I could see where she could get crushed. But I don't know how any of that works. That's the only thing that like made sense to me.
Well, I would think that our Carol Danvers could still get destroyed by a statue if one was to fall on her and she didn't activate like her powers.
So I just assumed it was like just like a
Like
innate.
passive.
Yeah, like it just was there.
And that could definitely be a thing.
Kind of like a Hulk thing. Like so Banner like I mean it's Banner. But
Yep.
but if anything happens to him, then it just he can't
The
die.
Hulk, yeah. Because they talked about how he tried to swallow a bullet and
Right.
the Hulk spit it back out.
Which would be a great scene to see.
It would.
That would have been cool.
I don't think I could. That just.
I mean, yeah, like even just like
Or actually, you know what? I mean, if we're thinking about it, it would just be like a scene, and then he thinks like the bullet's going to go through it, and the bullet just stops.
right.
Like it shows like bullet cam effectively just, and then it just hits the back of his head. Like, nope.
Yeah.
And then you see the Hulk. I'm done.
Yeah. Anyways, that would have been an interesting scene. Illuminati. I was because I had already heard the Baxter Building. I was not expecting to see Reed Richards.
Yep.
But when John Krasinski stood up as Reed Richards, I about fell out of my chair.
Well, he didn't stand. He portaled in.
Is that I don't remember how.
Yeah.
I just remember all of a sudden he was there and I couldn't believe it. Like, and I looked over at Liz and I was like, oh.
I'm pretty sure I had like an audible like yes.
Yeah.
Like I freaked out a little bit when definitely when Professor X showed up, but I knew he was coming
Yeah.
because he was in promotional material.
Right.
And I'd heard rumors, but I was like, I don't know. And then he was there. I was like, yes.
See, I hadn't even heard rumors. Like I didn't see any of those spoilers or rumors, or whatever. I knew people have been pining for John Krasinski to be Reed Richards for years.
Oh yeah.
But I did not expect. I just didn't think we would see any Fantastic Four representation by character.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I thought Baxter Building was all we were going to get, and so when I saw John Krasinski, I about died.
Yeah, so here's the thing: is now that Doctor Strange has entered the multiverse and he's come back to our universe, now end credit scene happens, so we see that he goes off with that Clea lady, and he's going to go do something with her.
Right in the dark world, dark underworld,
Dark dimension.
Yeah. I had to look it up because I had no idea what any of that meant.
That was from the first Doctor Strange movie. That's
Right,
the one
but
Dormammu's
she's like the niece or the daughter of
the niece
Dormammu?
of
Niece, yeah.
But my question is, does he look for Reed Richards in our world? Because that's what I would do.
Because you would think, okay, maybe I need to create one of these Illuminatis or whatever. I need this team of the best.
What's he been doing? If he's the smartest guy in that universe and appears that like powers are like similar powers are in that, right? So there's a Reed Richards in that one. There's Reed Richards in ours. He's, I keep saying ours, in 616. Like, you would think, okay, if that guy's like the smartest guy in the world, mine's got to be probably just as smart.
Yeah, and I feel like if that were the case, you would have heard about him somewhere.
Exactly. So if you haven't, that to me says, why not?
Right.
What's he doing that he's making himself not known?
Unless he
is the dumbest person in the world, and that sounds bad, but unless he's just like an average Joe, and therefore, but then you wouldn't bring the Fantastic Four into the Marvel universe,
right.
And the fans would probably protest in front of Kevin Feige's house.
Unless he did a spell to wipe everybody's memory of him.
You like seeing Doctor Strange did one?
Sure, why not? He did it to Spider-Man.
That's. I saw a meme today, and it was like, Wanda's going to freak out trying to get America Chavez powers, and then Doctor Strange's like, oh, okay, and he does the Spider-Man spell. He goes, she now doesn't remember that she had kids. Done.
That's like that YouTube channel, like How It Should Have Ended.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, yep, and that's the movie. There you go.
Yeah, it's done 10 minutes in.
And there's a lot of plot holes that people have mentioned, and you see them looking back on it. That'd be one of them. Like, he forgot about spells that he used in the beginning of the movie or in other movies that he didn't use in this movie.
Right.
There's the fact that he didn't use that spell to stop or to make her forget about Spider-Man or forget about her kids.
Yeah.
Why didn't she just go to a different universe where that Wanda died?
Right, and be like, hey, kids.
Yeah.
Come with me.
Or
why didn't she just get over it? I don't mean that. I don't mean that at all. I just needed an additional soundbite, one where Jeremiah sounds bad and one where I sound bad.
That's no. I'm not going to condone that one.
No, not at all.
I mean, maybe she should have though, because they weren't real. Like,
right?
If you consider from a mental patient, right? Of I almost like schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And I've created these kids in my life, and they're not real. Mm-hmm. How do you handle that when like that happens?
Yeah, you just a lot of therapy.
Yeah,
a lot of therapy.
It's a little bit different when that lady can travel the multiverse and create beings to do that.
How did the kids exist in other multiverses?
That's a great question.
Did she break down in all of them? I mean, Vision wasn't in any of them.
And that's probably just a money thing where they didn't want to pay for Paul Bettany to come in. That's the problem with like this whole like thing.
Right. You get too many on the payroll.
That's why they had to sit there and be like, I don't want to ask the other Avengers.
Yeah. Because if they're there, then she would have also had, so maybe Vision just died in every single one of those, and she WandaVisioned all of them.
But if that's the case, then none of those kids were actually real.
Right, and they would still be in Westboro or whatever that town was.
Westboro Baptist, yeah.
Yes, Westboro.
Yeah, she'd still be in the Westboro Baptist world. Westview?
Westview, yes, not Westboro. Oh my gosh. These crazy kids.
Yes, they are. But yeah, so I don't know how her kids exist. I just have to take it on faith, I guess, that those kids exist and they're real this time. Because if she can make kids,
who's the daddy?
Vision. He's the Mind Stone.
In all of them?
Yeah, he's
the robot.
Yeah, he's the Mind Stone. And she has like the powers. No, she has the different stone powers. So
when a mommy and a daddy,
yep. Okay, I get this so far. Yeah.
Love each other.
Yeah. The stork drops off the kids.
They just think real hard.
Yep.
Kids appear.
You think a wonderful thought. Any happy little thought
with powers.
Yep.
Did those kids have powers in the alternate? All the different multiverse?
I would think so. These are questions that Marvel's left us, and I don't know if they want to answer it.
And that's fine. I'm okay with unanswered questions. That was one of the things I loved most about Lost, and that they didn't answer all the questions. Not everybody agrees with me. In fact, I would say probably most people don't agree with me. I love that they didn't answer all the questions. And so I'm good with not answering questions.
You love that they didn't answer all the questions by the end of the show, or that they left things open throughout the show?
Yeah, there's a bunch that they didn't answer.
I know.
In the show, and I'm okay with that.
But why make them in the show then?
Why not? It's all about the creative
I'm okay
process.
With if they're saying, hey, we leave something open for like season 3 and we answer it in season 5. I'm totally okay with that. On board with that concept. How I Met Your Mother does that fantastically, where they set something up in season 2, they somehow bring it back in season 4. Happens all the time.
Arrested Development does it a lot too.
Arrested Development. And you're like,
good.
wait,
Yep.
what's this random thing that happened? Oh, okay. I see what they did there. It takes a lot of forethought, and they do fantastic at it.
Right.
But when a show leaves questions that don't answer, that to me says they didn't actually have forethought. They just said, let's create nonsense, like a sandbox, and then not actually address anything.
You don't think that's just a matter of just like creating something for the sake of just the larger story, and it wasn't crucial to the main, because it's Jack's story.
It's not crucial at all then.
Sure.
It's not crucial at all.
Part of the process.
No,
Yeah, for sure. It's the same way that we can argue about the difference between Calvinism and Arminianism.
Yep, Calvinism is right. Got it. End of argument.
which some people will agree. But then some people will fight tooth and nail on the other side of that, being like, no, absolutely not. You are the worst. In fact, you're probably not saved at all. Right? Like, but it's because they're good for discussion. They're good for study. They're good for understanding.
Yep.
But those are not, right?
But they're not telling a story that has parts, and they're making conscious decisions to put things in a story. They paid money for storylines to happen.
I'm going to blame the writer's strike.
That's a fair. That is fair. I've also heard that J.J. Abrams is a guy that loves to just start things and then walk away. He's a great starter.
So an instigator?
Instigator, sure.
Right? You like walk into a crowd and make fun of somebody and then leave real quick and then just let a bar fight ensue. See, now I think this is also what makes me would make me a really bad movie critic, is that like I don't care about things like that. Like I don't care if there's like a ton of things that aren't answered. Like if I can follow one storyline from beginning to end and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm good. Like all the different branch things that happened, like I don't know, maybe I just don't notice. Maybe my wife thinks that I have ADHD. Like a form of it, and I've just learned how to like deal with it.
I personally think that everyone in the world has ADHD based off of the like definitions I'm seeing.
There's
on like TikTok and stuff where they're like,
there's an ad.
BetterHelp, or was that the Better? No,
I don't know. They're like scrolling through. There's like an ad that's like, maybe you have ADHD, and it starts like, if you have these symptoms. I have never made it past the second symptom, and before I've swiped onto something else.
Like, if you're swiping right now, you've ADHD.
And so I've thought like, wait, is this that? And I was like, and I think it as I'm like, oh, maybe that's. Oh, look at this, and then I'm on it. Something else.
Well, for me, like those ads, I'm just like, I don't care. Like, it's an ad on TikTok.
As soon as I see the little sponsored thing on TikTok, I just swipe. I don't care what it is.
Yeah. So,
wait,
it has nothing to do with what they're actually selling. As soon as I recognize it's an ad,
would you buy something that you saw on TikTok?
Yeah, if we catch my eye fast enough. But the second I recognize it's an ad, I move on.
Yep. There's a guy on there with unnecessary inventions.
Okay.
Is that what it is? And it's all just, he invents all sorts of things with his like 3D printer that nobody ever needs or nobody's ever asked for.
Oh, okay.
And it's fantastic. They're the greatest things. The only thing that's coming to mind right now is a burrito salsa something. It's this long tube with like all these different spouts on it that you shove into a burrito and then pour salsa into, so that it evenly distributes the salsa.
First of all, that seems genius.
It does.
And you could do that with like popcorn and butter.
Yes.
You could easily distribute the butter throughout the entire popcorn.
You don't like your butter just right in that middle layer?
I'm just saying, like, if I had the ability to stick a tube in there and just give a couple good squirts down the tube for some butter, I would do it.
Yeah. You should find this guy. He's got all sorts of things, and I can't think of any. But he makes a ton of things.
Okay.
I can't think of any of the things.
Well, while you're thinking of that, I'm gonna bring us to our weekly shout out.
Oh, just because we're well past the D. We're the
estist.
Yeah. In fact, I don't know. Is there more that let's say before we hit your shout outs, is there anything else you would want to say about
both of our shout outs?
Right. You started it, so that's what I said. Is there anything else you would want to say about Mom?
About Mom? I mean, just again, I liked it. I think there's a lot of plot holes that they could have worked on. Mm-hmm. The end credits, I thought it was funny, a little trolly, but you keep doing that enough times and people aren't going to stay for the end credits anymore.
Yeah.
So you're walking a line there.
Yep. I loved that that a bunch of a lot of fanboying happened with the Illuminati and then got killed right away. Like I liked that. I was okay. At first I was like, oh, no. All right, that was pretty cool. Like just kind of like setting everybody up and then crushing everybody all at the same moment. Like this is what you wanted. I'm taking it away from you.
But once again, I think that you are mocking your fan base when you do things like that.
That's true.
And so there's a game you're playing.
Yeah. But again,
how long is this going to last for?
This is why I'm not a good movie critic or somebody that you should ever base any of your decisions off of, because I'm wishy-washy.
No,
sometimes
and that's fine.
Sometimes I won't.
And I've already said that I'm going to watch TV shows that I think are horrible,
right?
Because they're the Marvel
you think
brand.
Are horrible.
Well, like
if you thought it was horrible, not just like bearable, would you still watch it just because it's Marvel?
For the first one, yeah. For the first like season, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I might after the second or third season not do it, but like I watched Supergirl for way longer than I wanted to. But that show it eventually wore on me. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
That one got too political.
I don't think I watched all of season 2 of Luke Cage.
Okay, I finished that show. I think Luke Cage. This is going to be a controversy. I think Luke Cage was the worst of those Marvel shows.
Really? Because most people that I would hear were going to say Iron Fist.
Yep, and I disagree.
I liked the first season of Luke Cage.
To me, Luke Cage is the worst of them. That's a hot take right there. And
as the storytelling or as a character?
That's the storytelling. The entire thing. It wasn't for me. It wasn't my cup of tea. I like Iron Fist better, but I understand that I am in the minority, and I'm okay with that.
All right, I can get behind that. Are they bringing any of them back? Like, are we going to see those characters return?
I think I just heard that they're bringing a Daredevil to Disney Plus television show.
But is that
like a new one?
Okay, so because they've already brought everything over to Disney Plus.
Yep.
Right.
I think from what I hear, they're doing a new Daredevil show
with the same guy.
With Charlie. Well, he was in Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Right.
So.
Okay.
He's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Daredevil.
True.
Even though they called him Matt Murdock, the fact that he caught a brick
without looking.
Yeah.
That was a pretty great scene.
Which, if you ever watched the VFX guys react show, you're learning it was supposed to be like a snow globe originally.
Yeah. I saw that somewhere.
And
yeah, that's right.
So, but anyways, he's in there. He's Matt Murdock. He's Daredevil.
Yeah, that was a cool scene.
Kingpin is in there because of Hawkeye. So at least those two characters are going to be there. So yeah.
Okay.
Any final thoughts from you on Moms?
I loved that I could tell. Again, not a huge movie critic, right? Because I don't recognize a lot of things, but I could tell that this was directed by Sam Raimi.
Okay. Yeah.
Because of Army of Darkness and the Evil Dead movies.
Yeah.
I just I've only seen Evil Dead 1 and 2 like maybe once or twice, but I've watched Army of Darkness 20 times. Like I love Army of Darkness. In fact, I think I have it in my top 20. It's been a while since I've looked at my top 20. But
that'd be a
Army of Darkness is just such
really quick. Sorry, put this on the show. Possible idea for number 20. We discuss our top 20.
Yeah, actually, okay.
We'll talk later. But as you say that,
Liz, my wife Liz had an amazing idea for 20, and so I think we could probably add that in there.
Okay.
But she said, "Why don't you guys talk about like significant moments from your 20s?" Like just your years 20 to 30, like what were some significant moments? That's, I mean, for me, that's like joining the army. That's at the very end of that's getting engaged. I was engaged and got
two things
unengaged.
I did when I was in the 20s.
Yeah. So maybe I just have a bunch of things in my 20s, but we could just find things that are 20.
Okay.
But I tell you what, nailing down top 20 is hard. Oh, man.
I really hate those questions, and because there's just like a huge range of things. A top 5, and you can be like, okay, they didn't make the top 5. It could be number 6 for all you know, but it's not top 5. But top 20,
there's put a lot in there. You can 20 is easier to work with.
Well, no, I think 20 is harder to work with because it's like, oh, that wasn't in your top 20, really?
Yeah.
Like you can justify not being in your top 5, but not being in your top 20, that could be difficult.
Yeah.
Depending on the movie, obviously.
Yeah.
And you might learn some things about me as far as what movies I have and haven't seen.
And same.
Yeah, that could be. Saving Private Ryan.
So we get into that another time too. We could probably put that on the shelf. We're gonna have to go back and look through all of our episodes to like see what things we've put on the shelf.
Actually, for those of you that have been watching, if you wouldn't mind commenting below the things that you've heard us mention on the shelf that you want to see us bringing back up, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, because we're gonna forget.
Yep.
But I refused to watch Saving Private Ryan forever.
Okay.
And it was probably only the last 5 years that I've seen it, and I only watched it once. And it's like there are scenes that are like burned into my brain.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. It's not like I'm saying on any weird rock. I haven't sat down to watch it.
Oh, my reason was stupid. It was so dumb. Everyone's like, you should go see this movie. And I was like, no, I don't want to, because you're telling me I should. It is the dumbest reason.
That's legitimate.
But I loved the look and feel of the Sam Raimi kind of like horror suspense kind of thing. I really like that. And the fact that Bruce Campbell was the hot dog vendor And the whole idea of his character in Army of Darkness was that his hand was possessed, and so he cut off his hand, and that's where the chainsaw comes from. And then Doctor Strange does that little voodoo on him, and then he's being attacked by his hand the whole time. And it just, I loved that. Like, it was just such like a, I don't know. By the end, and it wasn't really until the end that it like wore off, and he was like, I'm free. That it dawned on me, like, that was Ash's character. Like, that was the whole thing like he went through in Army of Darkness. And so I just thought, I thought it was great. I enjoyed being able to like pick out some of those kinds of things that I had seen in Army of Darkness, especially with like the zombies and like the weird little demon things that turned into wings, which was cool looking.
It was cool. I'm not exactly sure. Like, I feel like they're like, this happens now is because of the book, and you're like, we're not going to explain that at all. But
maybe they're running out of time. Can we get a director's cut?
I'm over director's cuts.
Just because they're so good, or they're just boring? There's a reason why stuff was cut.
There's a reason why things were cut, in my ultimate opinion. Now, I realize that some of that, the reason is because of time, and so the story isn't what the director wanted to tell. I'll buy that, but just like, do better. This is your job.
The Zack Snyder Justice League.
The 4:3 format was stupid.
It was. I didn't. That's still confusing to me, but it was probably about the same amount of time if you took out all the slow motion scenes.
We can have a whole discussion on Zack Snyder and my opinions on Zack. Have we talked about Zack Snyder on this, or was that just in our first episode?
I don't think we did in any kind of length.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm not a Zack Snyder fan. End of the story. Let's do our shout outs and let's get out of here.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I'm actually going to shout out my nephew this time.
Okay.
Benjamin Holden, because today is his birthday.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Today,
So,
the day we're recording this.
The day recording, May 19th. I had to double check it on my watch. It is his birthday. So happy birthday, Benjamin. I will see you Sunday.
That is very cool.
Or yesterday as this episode comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was hoping to think of somebody to shout out while you were talking.
Okay.
And it still hasn't fully
Just go from the gut.
happened
Yeah.
yet. I am, let's see here. I don't know why my brain is it's so just full of stuff.
Don't talk to me. Talk to the camera. Just.
It's me and you here right now.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs.
Okay. What do you want to tell Steve? What do you want to tell Steve?
Thanks for making iPhones. Thanks for making and creating the beginning of iOS, because there's just something satisfying about having a text message with somebody else and you get a blue bubble. You get that green one. It's just.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that people who love Androids are bad people.
Well, they are, but you're right. Continue.
I'm just really thankful that I'm not one of them. Oh, man. Scoring all sorts of points.
Yeah. Jesse hates women androids.
Women androids. I'm not a fan of female androids at all. Oh, man. We got to wrap this up. We got to be done with this. Hey, we have those two things we like to end our podcast with, things that we just really would love for you to remember, for everybody to remember. The first one is that you are loved, that you are cared for, not just by us. Even if we don't know you, we do care for you. We do want the best for you, but also by God, who has moved heaven and earth to be able to have a relationship with you. It's not easy. It takes a little bit of effort, but it is free, and that's a good thing. And God always loves you right where you are, and we would love for you to know just how much you are loved.
And that second thing we wanted you to know, you might die tonight. So if you have anything to do, business with God, with your friends, with your family, do it, because tomorrow is not promised to you. I've been Jesse. Wait, no, I'm Jeremiah. That's Jesse.
And you've been Jeremiah.
Yeah.
I've been Jesse.
Yeah.
This has been Level 5.
We've always appreciated you. Get out of here, you crazy kids.
We'll see you next time.